The next article is from Hans India newspaper. The article is Why So Much Resistance to the Idea of Natural Farming. In this article, the writer says that in the Anantapuramu district of Andhra Pradesh, farmers are embracing natural farming as a way to combat climate change and improve soil health. The state government's community-managed natural farming program, Ritu Sadhikara Samstha, uses pelletized seeds coated with materials like cow dung and ash, which can lay in the soil for 30 to 45 days, waiting for as little as 5 to 10 mm of rain to sprout. This technique has allowed women farmers to cultivate during a season that would have gone to waste, making it an essential reworking of farm practices in climate risk times. The program covers every district of Andhra Pradesh with 0.8 million farmers, or 14% of the state's cultivators practicing natural farming in some form. This is not the organic farming method that the author knows, but rather it turns conventional science upside down. The first principle of this method is that biodiversity is integral to building soil strength, meaning polycropping is not just a risk mitigation method, but also needed to improve the soil's microbial life. The second principle is to not expose the soil to sunlight, keeping the land covered with biomass at all times. This is combined with the practice in which soil is minimally disturbed or not tilled, improving soil porosity, soil biodiversity, which reduces water consumption and improves photosynthesis. The use of biostimulants made from cow dung, urine, jaggery, and lentil flour is used to improve productivity. This practice is not much about plant science, but about soil science. However, there is resistance to the idea of this kind of agriculture, as organic agriculture is still largely about conventional practices but without chemicals. In this case, science promotes competition in plants so that they can build soil reservoirs of fungi and bacteria and everything underneath we know little about. The question is why farmers are taking to natural farming and what it will take to make it even more popular. The answer is simple. It is economics that is driving the change. Farmers who practice natural farming tell the author that their productivity matches that of their neighbors who practice conventional farming but spend next to nothing on seeds, pesticides, or fertilizers. Their water expenses are low, they use family labor, and they earn double or more of what others do. They can also mitigate risk with multiple crops. However, there is no buy-in from the established agricultural paradigm. Scientists still view this agriculture as unproductive, and the knowledge of its practice is not considered enough to support its extension. Today in Andhra Pradesh, the real force behind the practice is village women's self-help groups coming together to practice, learn, and propagate the idea. Hello everyone, let's discuss today's The Hindu editorial page. The first article is Old Censorship on a New Medium. In this article, the writer says that on November 12th, India celebrated Deepavali by constructing an under-construction tunnel in Uttarakhand, trapping 41 workers. The Silkyara Tunnel, part of the ambitious Char Dham all-weather road project, was being built to ease pilgrims' journey to Uttarakashi's Yamunotri shrine. However, more than 10 days after the workers were sealed into the tunnel, the effort to free them faced a major setback. From the day of the tunnel's collapse, newspapers have been publishing detailed reports on rescue efforts. Television coverage of the incident during the initial days was sparse, and the Uttakashi tunnel collapse poses troubling questions on environmental clearances, faulty public works, and civil contracting, all of which directly impact human lives. This is perhaps why news channels did not dare to cover the incident or host debates questioning the government. This silence was broken only when the prolonged captivity of the workers could not be ignored for long. Television news coverage peaked when rescue efforts began to bear fruit, and the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand and the Union Minister for Roads visited the site. A story of gross negligence transformed into a heroic rescue. The control tower for television media is achieved due to a mix of ideological partisanship, economic models, threats, and the regulation of the media and entertainment landscape. Even popular culture, such as movies and television shows, is scrubbed of bad words and controversial themes. The answer to breaking this lack of media diversity in news and general entertainment has been the internet. As per this year's Fitchi KPMG Frames report, TV is still the primary medium broadcasted in approximately 165 million homes. But growth is slowing, as per Nielsen's India Internet Report of 2023. For instance, at least 85 million viewers in rural India share smartphones and huddle together to stream YouTube videos. The government knows this and is erecting a censorship system for everything you watch online. This control tower for it is called the Broadcasting Services Regulation Bill 2023. On November 10th, the Ministry for Information and Broadcasting released a copy of the Broadcasting Services Regulation Bill, which finds space below an advisory to TV channels and self-regulatory bodies on the Uttarkashi tunnel collapse. Union Minister Anurag Thakur stated that the principal objective of the bill is to achieve the Prime Minister's vision through specific provisions that modernize and replace outdated laws. Greater reason is contained in a Press Information Bureau release that notes an intention to repeal the 3 decades-old Cable Television Networks Regulation Act 1995. However, as noted in other legal proposals such as the Indian Telecommunication Bill 2022 or even the more recent set of 3 Bharatiya criminal justice proposals, there is continuity on core legal principles. Changes, if present, only serve to increase government powers, reduce transparency and accountability processes, and erode fundamental rights. There is little modernization, and the anxieties of the 1990s have been elevated by an authoritarian state that tries to use digital technologies to make us celebrate and outrage. The next article is Fleet Electrification to Tackle Urban Pollution. In this article, the writer says that the Air Quality Index, AQI, in many Indian cities has entered the red zone several days this year, causing serious health hazards for millions of people. Mitigation strategies must be prioritized, with PM2, 5 and PM10 pollution being significant contributors to urban smog. India's growing network of roads is causing an increase in truck fleets, with about 9 lakh new trucks added annually. If all these new trucks are powered by diesel-powered internal combustion engines, cities will face a greater onslaught of PM2. 5. Pollution. India has already electrified rail freight transportation, but this only accounts for about 20% of the freight carried in the country. Electric vehicle penetration has crossed the 6% mark on roads, but electric trucks remain a challenge due to upfront costs and charging infrastructure constraints. The government is aggressively electrifying bus fleets and setting emission targets for bus aggregators. But the focus must extend to diesel trucks and dust mitigation. The need of the hour is deploying solutions swiftly, with the demand for 7,750 electric trucks in India by 2030, potentially saving over 800 billion litres of diesel until 2050. However, the Indian truck fleet is likely to reach a figure of 1.7 crore in 2050, necessitating a push for the pace of transition to e-trucks. Green freight corridors are needed to demonstrate the impact of green transport on the country. Accelerating feasibility studies, demand aggregation, supplier readiness, and a prudent risk allocation strategy are required to create green freight corridors in India. Innovative financial instruments, incentivization, and a combination of innovative financial instruments and incentives are essential for achieving these goals.